Right guys, it's going to be 100k Nightfall solo on the strange terrain. For those that just want to see the run, then skip to time on the screen. The rest of you, I can show you my subclass weapons and all that. First of all, the modifiers, we've got Fire Pit on, so when any acolytes are defeated where they stood, they drop a solar pearl. For champions this week, we have Unstoppable and Anti-Barrier Knights. We have Equipment Locked, which is always on. Match games, so we have to deal with a lot of Arc Shielded Knights and Solar Wizards. And this last modifier is basically telling us that Solar Burn is on for incoming solar damage sources. So mainly the boss is what we've got to watch out for. Solar nades we can avoid. You know, it's just common sense to step out of those. But with the boss can wreck quicker than you would expect, even if you've over leveled, even if you're 970s. Go in there solo, the boss can wreck pretty quick, so we've got to be cautious of him. As far as our subclass choice, we opted for Sentinel. I do have a Striker Titan run saved, but I'm not going to post that up since I wouldn't advise people to do it with this class. Mainly bottom tree is what I'm talking about, since bottom tree Striker got nerfed, rightly so. But talking for PvE purposes, not PvP. For PvE, what hit it the most, because I used to play with this subclass a lot, what hit it the most was reversal. The fact that reversal isn't triggering anymore during our super, so it makes you just a sit and duck really while you're in your super. Like an Arc Stride is way more tankier than this, which doesn't make any sense. Titans should be pretty tanky in the super. This is talking PvE, so the fact this doesn't proc anymore, this makes this super just nowhere near as good for runs such as this. So that's why I'm not posting that run up. Top tree Striker, however, is a different story. That would be a really good run. But for the video, like I said, we're using Sentinel, so we're using top tree mainly so that we can use a bubble if we want to, and it's got the best survivable perks across all of the 3 tiers. Now, if you do not have Hive Repuropsing, which Hive Repuropsing, if you don't know what that does, it basically gives you your grenade back when you take down any shield. Okay, this means we're going to have our nade up a lot. If you don't have that modifier, obviously run your Menageries, your Crown of Sorrows. If you still don't have it, then if you are doing a solo run on a Titan, you're going to need to run. You probably would be better off running either middle tree or bottom tree. Middle tree is really good. You could run any of these two, and these two are more likely to give you grenade energy back and all that stuff. Okay, we're using Magentic Grenade on and Rally Barricade. As what we're pairing that with, it's the exotic Gauntlets Synthocpes. So what Synthocpes does is it buffs our super damage and our melee damage, top tier exotic. As our weapons are going, we've got the Unstoppable perk on for the Ogres, Eriana's Vow for the Knights. This is like the #1 Nightfall weapon in my eyes. If we weren't to counties and argies, this is probably the best, right? It's very forgiving and easy to take down the Knights. The thing I'll say to you is though, if you are somebody into solo Nightfalls, I see a lot of people not masterworking this weapon. Go ahead and masterwork it, take the time to do it. I know it takes a long time, but going from 6 in the mag to 9 is a big difference. You don't need to do it, but it just makes things so much easier doing that. As our heavy, we've got 21% Delirium on, mainly for ripping down shields and whatnot. If you do have Hive Armaments, you can rock a different sort of loadout. You could put Wendigo on. You do need an arc weapon, and Wendigo would be pretty nice. Blinding the Knights. I've done this on my Striker Titan run. Just blinding the Knights just makes them a breeze. Do it with a weapon like that if you wanted. Our armor perks, like I said, we've got Hive Armaments on. This is a year 1 piece, since I don't have the 2.0 edition Hive Armaments. Synthocpes, like I said, with a Discipline mod on there and enhanced hand cannon loader. On our chest plate, we've got another Discipline mod with double hand cannon reserves. And on our boots, we have another Discipline mod with hand cannon Scavenger and Hive Repuropsing. So what you can see here is this build is catering. I mean, it's not fully masterwork yet. I haven't got around to doing it, but this is catered towards us having as much Eriana's Vow ammo as possible. I advise you do the same. You can rock this the other way and put on arc pieces and rock double machine gun reserves with machine gun Scavenger. That would also work. You can do it like that. But Eriana's Vow is very important to have as much ammo of it as you can, in my eyes. And lastly, our class armor had another discipline mod on there with Oppressive Darkness, so that's giving us our buff there with recuperation. So that's my loadout and everything. If you don't have some of the stuff that I've mentioned, like Hive Repuropsing and whatnot, I would definitely be taking this off and then putting on Armamentarium, and then rocking like as high of a tier for your discipline as you can to get your nade up as much as possible. So having your nade up is just super important because of the things like Oppressive Darkness and whatnot. So that's our build and setup and everything. Right, so I'm going to run straight away. We'll summon our Sparrow. Don't want to waste too much time. This isn't a time-intensive run like the old runs used to be, where it was the 15-minute marker, then it went to the 18 minutes. It's not as time-intensive as that, since now you get 20 minutes, and then the score halves, and it goes to 24 minutes. So you have a lot more time on these runs, but obviously they're a lot harder than the old runs as well. Now this particular run, this particular room, let's say, plays out differently each time. Okay? All depends on what the Ogre does. Right now the Ogre's not pushing me, so I can deal with the anti-barrier knight. Now the barrier knight doesn't always do this where they back right up. But if they do, just have to be careful, because if he does sidestep, sometimes he can do his shield behind the wall, which is annoying. Because if you push up, then the Ogre will push you right away. That can cause you problems. So of course we're gonna stun the Ogre first, and then out. The full clip of Eriana's can pretty much take him out. Then we just got Acolyte to deal with. Like I said, this room can play out many different ways. If the Ogre does push you before you even start dealing with the anti-barrier knight and whatnot, then the Ogre's the first protocol there. You want to stagger him first, take him out with Eriana's, and then you're good to go.
What do you know about Nokris?
I'll try my best to explain each room and sort of the reasons for doing ABOC as I'm doing them, sort of thing. Right now we've got 2 shielded knights to deal with and a bunch of thrall. So at this point I was just kind of waiting for my nade. I was very close, so I can get ammo back and just deal with them quick. And we can move forward. So with this room, you want to prioritize things. It's like with the full run, to be honest. Doing the most important thing first, and then you're working your way down. So right now, just dealing with the acolytes, since you don't want them to be doing their nades while you're taking cover and whatnot. And then the next thing's going to be the snipers. There's 3 snipers at the back. Depending on your like RNG, you can see all of them and snipe them all with Eriana's, but that isn't always the case. So I got what I could, and then there's a couple of snipers behind this particular rock here, which they always seem to hide behind. Once they don't sort of push you, you want to push up and get the cursed vault to spawn in. You don't want to waste too much time in this room. Since we've got heavy on the floor, we can just use our heavy as much as we want. We can put a nade on that knight, as Oppressive Darkness just combined with Eriana's does a lot of damage. I didn't realise there was a curse behind me, so retreat and take down that, and then take off the last knight. Now for those that don't know, you can still farm this room for infinite points, so the knights keep spawning. If you keep throwing balls off the map, they will keep spawning up, so you can keep getting points, and you could do that for like 20 minutes. Okay? The thing is, on a solo run, I wouldn't see much point in doing that, because it's cheesing it, which I don't generally like. And not only that, I would only do a run like that if you were using Warcliffe Coil to then go to the boss and like 2-phase him, because Warcliffe Coil does wreck in this one. Okay? This is that's a weapon that you could be using in this, but like I say, that will be on a run where you're cheesing it, which I don't advise. It's not fun. So with that bit, you can really skip it, to be honest. I just done 1 nade and then moved on, since we're going to get our nades back. Points aren't tight in this. See, we're nearly 30k already. 4 minutes in, so you don't have to kill everything. There's a lot of points to offer in this one. Right now we're just staying back, taking down the shield first, and then Eriana's vow. Now when the knight does his shield, Erianas will penetrate that because of anti-barrier, which is super nice. The once over that used to be the most annoying thing, them doing the shield, but now it's the best thing. Because they don't move about, they don't sidestep, they just stand exactly where you want them to, and you can just take them with Erianas. Super easy. Now these two anti-barriers, I like to come back and do a rally. Now I'm wanting to proc this guy's shield first. As soon as I proc it, then I want to pop my super, since you get more time on the second stun to do more damage. Now I nearly got that, if you notice there, I got Synthocpes on, I nearly killed that second knight as well, but it was just unfortunate. That's no problem, we can take his shield again, and do a nade, and then finish him off. Your super, you'll find, is not that useful in this run. You could go throughout the entire run and hardly use your super, so it's not that useful with it being a void. So with this run we got 4 knights to deal with straight away, so I'm taking down their shields and then nading each time. Okay? Since we want to kill at least 3 out of the 4, you don't want to have too many knights alive, because eventually the ogre will spawn up and then you can't deal with the knights any longer at that point. We want to stagger him straight away and deal with the ogre like on his own, on a 1-to-1. We take him easy. And dealt with that. We have max heavy, so we're good to go on that front. Now we're going to have, I think it's 4 acolytes with a couple of anti-barriers. Important thing with this, of course we do have another knight there as well, but the important thing with this is that the thrall will not spawn up until all the red bars are killed. But the thrall will spawn up even if anti-barrier knights are still alive. Now you don't want to be spawning in the thrall while dealing with anti-barrier knights. That wouldn't be a good way to deal with it. Then you just ask him for a wipe at that point. So what I do first is spawn in the thrall, deal with all that first. We do have a nade up, so we can use a lot of machine gun ammo here and nade for our ammo back. Trying to blind them in my barricade just to deal with them easy. Just be wary of the knights to our right, since they can still hit you if you're in an awkward position. Right now, dealt with the room, we're just dealing with these final 2 knights. When you solo, you want to deal with 1 knight at a time. Don't try and, you know, get them both or something. Deal with 1 at a time. Just like that. This guy's going to put a shield up. They usually do when they're below the first bar or just above that. So it doesn't, when you've got Hive Repuropsing on, it makes them, I'm going to say easy, really easy. Okay, it really does. I'm not going to lie about that. But if, like I said, if you don't have Hive Repuropsing, you want to max out your discipline, put Armamentarium on, and you're still going to have your nade up a lot to deal with this. But this room's a skip. Okay, this is why I save my my defensive strike, so we can sort of skip it. I also done a nade for heavy and then reprocced my nade off that knight there. Get it back by breaking his shield. So now this room's probably the most difficult part of the run, or one of the most difficult parts. The first thing you want to be concentrating on is the 2 shriekers. You can kill this second shrieker quick, like before you're really meant to. I don't think a lot of people know that. But kill that shrieker beforehand, since that shrieker will open up on you on the second phase of this fight if you don't. Okay, once the second ball is thrown. Since we've got 4 balls to throw. Now, this room is all about positioning. This ogre will wreck. He always has done. Okay? You want to sort of position yourself in such a way that he isn't wrecking you. There's also a high value target behind us, a wizard, and you've got to be conscious of that. You can take the wizard out, but the wizard's worth 380 points. Nothing. It's not worth my time. I definitely could have took it out. I have done in previous runs, but it's not worth it. It's not enough points. Right now, this is like a safe place to stand. The ogre generally won't touch us here. The only danger that we have is that the acolytes, when they do the nades. So that's kind of why I'm looking up this hill here, just trying to get these acolytes. Also, I can hear the wizard behind us. This is where it can be awkward, leaving this wizard up. And now we want to finish off all these other acolytes on this side, which generally are. Now obviously on the other side of the room more knights spawn in, but we're not going to be going over there. It's easier just to honestly wait for the knights on this side, because they do spawn up. As long as we don't throw any balls, right, they're going to keep spawning. Now I wasn't farming the knights here particularly, it was more just get the balls over on this side, just to make life easier. Okay. This is just an easier way to do the room, showing people. Okay, so that's one ball. We have 3 balls, so we've got all balls covered at this point. I was going to go for the other ball, but we had another knight spawn in here. So we'll have to take this knight instead. Same thing, we're taking down with shield, then we're doing our nade. You can nade beforehand and then do Delirium, and then you'll get your nade back while doing Oppressive Darkness as well. You can do it like that, which I have done, and I do end up doing through the run at times. Okay. I can see the Ogre's right there. We've got another knight spawning in, which is awkward. I'm playing it cautious, so come over here, out the way of the knight, and just have a few more balls to throw. That's 2 balls thrown. I'll know that because of the audio cue. When there's an audio cue, that's the ad spawning on the other side of the map. Bunch of acolytes and whatnot, so we want to throw the last ball as soon as, because we don't really want to deal with it too much. There's a lot of points in this room, but you don't need them. It's probably better just to take the time gain on it. You can kill every acolyte in this room, like I've done it on runs, but found out it's best off just to take down all crystals, have a super, kill the Ogre, and just kill what you can before they go immune. That's basically it. I mean, we've got 80k, we're 11 minutes in, there's no need to fully optimise this room. Unless you're going for like a PB score or something, then sure. But with that room, you just really need to play to the left hand side like I did. Gain all the knights from that side, which they'll spawn in, as long as you're not throwing the balls at the crystals too much. And then you can just one face the Ogre, kill any acolytes that are left over, and be done with it. And then you're good to go. Okay, so now the old, what used to be 4 arc shielded knights is now 2 arc shielded knights and 2 anti-barriers. So right now I'm standing up this part here behind this rock's good cover. Right now I'm wanting to sort of take these arc shielded knights first. That was my aim, but I don't think I ended up doing it like that. Sort of in my way. I got this knight unintentionally low, so I was like, I'll take him now then. So I wanted to get some heavy ammo off him, which I put enough damage in to make sure that the grenade kills him and not my machine gun with that anti-barrier just then. And same again there. Now we're max heavy, max Erianas, so we're good to go for the boss fight. Now with this boss, I don't think people know this, but if you stand down the bottom end of the map, I don't know why, you'll spawn in ads, and that's good and all, you'll get more points, but you just don't need them. I'm on 95k now, we're 30 minutes in, we've got an additional 7 minutes of max score to obtain. We really don't need it. If you stand down the bottom end of the map, the boss will spawn in more ads, but if you stand specifically there, he doesn't, because he's focused on you attacking you, sort of thing. That's a little tip with that. The goal with that was just to do as much damage, just get it over with to the ad phase. Okay, so now we're on to the start of phase of the fight. Now this fight ramps up, and I've done loads of commentary runs on this. I feel like I'm repeating myself with it, but I will for new people to it. So effectively the boss right now, he's immune and he does nothing to you. He won't damage you at all. He just looks at you, right? Every time he takes the crystals, so every time a pillar's taken, the fight ramps up. So right now we've got ads, and that's all we're dealing with. On the next phase it's going to be ads. It's going to be him immune, stationary, and he does his solar attack at you. Which, like I said earlier, there's a solar mod on. So got to be aware of that. And then on the final phase he's immune and he roams, which you'll see. Right now we're popping our super though, just to sort of get rid of it. as we don't have much use for it right now. This match game's on, I just took his shield down in time. But mainly that was just to proc on the knights. Since there's a lot of adds around me, I wanted to rotate round. Now when you are doing this, you've got to rotate around the rocks, never go in middle too much, unless all adds are down and it's safe to do so. Because that's where your danger zone is, especially later on in the fight when the boss does his solo move. Right now we're just finishing up any sort of acolytes. I knew there was no, there wasn't. It was the knight. Generally just, this is the point where when everything's down, it's an ammo run and it's clearing up everything basically. Got our ammo to drop there again. Now this is also another little thing, it's again positioning. It's all about positioning this boss fight. I've come over here specifically since I want to take out the 2 snipers. Don't worry about the boss until those are taken out. Once they're taken out, he will do his move every time and spawn in adds, which is fine. And this is where you start prioritising things, and we're wanting to take out all the adds first. I mean, the acolytes are a danger because we're taking cover a lot, especially how we're going to be doing it. You want to take out all the acolytes before you start doing damage. Once all acolytes are done, this little rock here is the best rock to do damage from. So I'm trying to lure him over here. Reason being is because when he does his attack, he doesn't damage you. It's not a cheese per se, it just speeds up the damage. Now actually he did damage me there, so sometimes he can, but 9 times out of 10 he won't, which you'll see me there later where he doesn't damage me. So but you'll see now on this next one. Just looking for the last acolyte. Once he's taken, we'll go back to the rock for DPS. Of course it'll be with Eriana's, our DPS weapon. Once he's in position, and there we go, we can just lay into him. Like I said, this is not a cheese per se, it's just to speed up DPS, that's all it is. You can either do it like that or rotate between rocks, it's up to you, but just for speeding it up, that's all. So now we're on sort of middle phase, which is the easiest, and it's just with wizards. A couple of shots with Eriana's, you can get them down. And now we're going to have a bunch of thralls spawning in. Now there'll be 2 wizards spawning. Of course you want to be hanging around on this right side. Left side's not as good. Later on in the fight it is, but in the earlier stages of the fight, it's better to be on the right side. Now there'll be a wizard, like I said, on the left. You don't want to take him yet at all, because once you take him down, that will spawn in the knights. If you spawn in the knights while you're dealing with the cursed, you're just going to make it more of a rush. You're going to be rushing it too much, effectively. You can have thrall chasing you while you're trying to deal with 2 boomer knights, which isn't ideal. So you want to take down all the thrall. Once the thrall stop coming, you can then spawn kill the knight on the right. Like so. Put his shield up, which is perfect. Just take him out with Eriana's. But like, this is why I'm saying this phase is so easy. There's not a lot to deal with. No acolyte snipers, nothing. Just a couple of thrall, 2 wizards, and then the knights. Different ways you can do this. I ended up taking his shield down from over here and then just sniping him. You could go up closer and whatnot. There's really no need to. Like I said, right side of the map's really safe behind that particular rock. Now, you will sometimes get additional knights spawning in if you take a little longer. You can kill like an extra one or whatever. It's the same thing, you can chase it here as well. Just keep killing them, but there's no need. Once you get in your 100k, you just want to get on with the rest of the fight. The same thing, whenever we're taking down the guy's shield, the last ball that we've thrown, we're always on right to take down 2 snipers, and then worry about sort of the adds that the boss will spawn in. Then again, we want to stay behind this rock. Doing a grenade for some ammo, just to keep that topped up. It's always about thinking about your ammo, follow me? Same thing, we're wanting to take down all acolytes so that we have no danger with nades or whatnot, and then we're going to get the boss into position to damage to get to the next phase. Now sometimes he will spawn an extra set of adds. I can't remember if he does or not. No, he doesn't. So Sometimes he will, if you're taking longer on damage, he'll end up keep spawning those mini waves of adds, but he didn't on that particular time. So this is now the hardest phase of the fight, since now, like I was saying earlier, the boss is immune, he roams, and he's doing his attack and he's more aggressive on you. So you can't just rely on the right side rock anymore. Take out what you can, but once sort of acolyte snipers start to spawn, that's when you want to think about moving. As they're just spawning in now, since the timing on it will be the knights will start to spawn in. For whatever reason, the left knight spawns in before the right, so that's why it's good to go over the left side. Now I found that it was best just to do a bubble on this phase. The knight will come into your bubble anyways. Of course we haven't got the helmet on, but that doesn't matter because we've got armor of light and weapons of light in our bubble, so we're good to go. Now while the bubble's up, just take out any sort of acolytes that are in the surrounding area. You'll be surprised how much thrall we end up getting. So best to kind of lure them into your bubble. Because once the thrall stops spawning, this phase is a lot easier to deal with. That bubble there, just it's better doing a bubble rather than just a super, since the shields of the knights are arc anyway, so at most you're going to be able to take one out, two if you're lucky, and then you've still got a ton of adds up, so definitely better to do a bubble on that phase. So now we've cleared out all adds. We've basically got one knight left to take down, which isn't a problem. Just makes it a lot easier. Now this is just all about getting in the right position to take the knight down. Since the boss hits you like 3-4 times, that can be it for you. So do our nade first, and wanted to. I was hoping that that nade would kill the knight, which it didn't, which is no problem. We can farm our nade back off him once he regens his shield, as so. And that's it, we're good, got our nade back, falls down so we can go for it. Now with this, I was wanting to go to the rock that I've been doing damage from, as it's just most consistent. We do a barricade there. Fortunately my freaking ball hit his head, whatever, so that was bit of an episode. So we'll just go back for the ball. Another knight spawning in, just whatever. He will despawn once we throw the ball, so we won't have to worry about him. Throw the ball, and now we'll do damage. We're doing a nade. Use Eriana's. Got to be conscious of the fact that there's going to be a ton of adds sort of surrounding us, so we can't just stay there. We've got to be on the move. Don't manage to sort of kill him within that phase. There will be two snipers that spawn at top as well, which is important, so that's why I went round there first and just took them out straight away. Now we're just sort of rotating around, find like a safe time just to finish the boss. That's effectively the run anyways. You don't need to deal with that final phase. You can if you're trying to get like a personal best score, but there's no sort of gain in that. We're just trying to get the 100k, okay? But that was the run on Sentinel Titan. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.